Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and it's April Fool's Day, April 1st. You know what? We never got too much into April Fools, at least as my family growing up. Some of my neighbors, they used to like to pull tricks on their parents on April Fool's Day. Thankfully, my kids don't do that. But happy April Fools! Dude, the first quarter's gone already, over. I hope it finds you well. Couple of announcements here. First of all, happy Easter weekend to everybody out there. Tomorrow, Patriot is open, and both offices will be open tomorrow. Phoenix, the radio station, KXXT, they are closed tomorrow, Good Friday on the Easter weekend. 1360 is open. Okay, so there you have it. So this show, my guess will be, you'll get this show again tomorrow in Phoenix. If you want to listen to us live, because we'll have a live show, go to 1360khnc.com and just click the play button, and you can hear us live tomorrow as as well. But the radio station KXXT is closed tomorrow. They'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday. But both Patriot offices are open, and the station in Colorado is open. Don't forget tomorrow the event at the radio station in Colorado. Got a movie playing tomorrow, 5 to 9, Cathay Athens. One of my favorite places to eat when I go up to Colorado. I've actually been eating at Cathay Athens before I even really knew Carrie at all when I go up there. So they're right there in Loveland and the mall there. And when I usually go up to Colorado, and I'll be up in Colorado next month, by the way. Well, this month and in May. Actually, I'll be up there twice. But I stay right near it. So the hotel I stay at's right near there. Great food. They're going to be catering the event. Make sure you go check it out. I got great news, at least for me personally. You know, I was telling you the other day, I had what they call a double crush, where I had a nerve in my elbow, and then my C6 and C7, I need surgery to relieve that. And ever since I've been taking the CBD, it had gotten better. I overdid it. Earlier this week, it was started, and I'm like, oh, man. I even told my wife, I'm like, man, I may have to go back. But what I did is I supercharged my CBD. And I took a double dose for a couple of days. I'm here to tell you today, pain-free. Telling you, it's great stuff. They got great products. Paul Mist is working on. We'll get details. We're going to have these the My Kind guys on the air here really soon, so you can ask questions. But it seems to just know what to do. It's amazing. For people that have trouble sleeping, it helps them. People that say that they've got anxiety and high blood pressure, they're putting the salves and the lotions on their forehead and saying it's helping them. This retinol cream. And this is more of a ladies' product, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's face it. This is the era of pretty boys, but it is supposed to be just fantastic. It's great for the wrinkles and all that, but they're saying like the neck and the chest area, it works wonders there as well. It's something where I was talking to the My Kind guys and Chris and Jerry. They spent a lot of resources on this product. They called this is the word they used with me, revolutionary. That's the word they used. So check that out as well. Go to 1360khnc, hit the shop button. You'll see all the CBD products there. I use the 3,000 milligram tincture, but I'm a bigger guy, and as I like to tell people, I've lived a lot. And I've taken I've had a lot of surgeries, a lot of, violent collisions in sports, car accidents. That's the one I use. If maybe you're not as big, the 1,000 milligram can work. But if the pain ramps up, take a double shot. Why not? Yeah, that's what I did. So anyway, check that out. Also, Also, all the remaining specialty items, if you go to All American Gold and you go to the shopping cart, you know, we put gosh, I don't even know how many products. I think it was like 100 products that were one-offs that we had collected from estates that we had bought. We sold a ton of them a couple of weeks ago. Everything that remains, I've marked them down. Everything's on sale. All these specialty items, they were already priced lower than anything I could find online, and now they're even lower. So if you want to look at, you know, maybe you got a birthday coming up or some kind of a graduation even, something like that, check it out. There's a lot of neat stuff. Most of that stuff that we got, they got box and certs and pretty stuff. But the best part is the price is absolutely out of this world. So check it out. Who knows? Well, you know, buy it all, put it on eBay, and make some money. Absolutely, you can do that. As well. That's at All American Gold. Hit the shopping cart button. We got a lot of data to talk about. I also have some mint sets that we're going to be talking about today as well. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of dates and things, and we'll get to it. We got a lot to get to. How's that for a Thursday? Yeah. Patriot Radio News Hour. By the way, everything's up today. Another rally in gold and silver again today. But hey, you know, when you're going to spend trillions and trillions and trillions and try to say there's no inflation when everyone knows there is, this is what's going to happen. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. And we got a lot of ground to cover. Go out to the shopping cart at allamericangold.com. I've got all the specialty items. There's a couple of gold items. So if you, when you get out there, the front page of the shopping cart, none of those products are on there. You got to go to the silver page where the vast majority of those specialty products are. On the gold page, there is a couple of gold items as well. Like I said, and everything has been put on sale on those specialty items. So snatch those up. We also have, and this one's it's kind of unique, and I don't know, you know, this if this fits what we do per se, but every year the government makes these proof sets, mint proof set, that has the coinage. So the penny, the nickel, the dime, the quarter, the 50-cent piece. And they come in these boxes and every, I don't know, about every 10 years or so they change the color of the box and all that. So you got green boxes, black boxes, purple boxes, blue boxes. I mean, but they've done this every year since 1968. That I know of. They may have been doing it longer, but I know at least since 1968. Some of those years, they have specialty silver dollars, like the Ike dollars, that actually were silver. They've done like bicentennial years and all these weird things. So some years will have a sixth coin. Some even have 7 or 8 coins. When they got to like state quarters and all these other things, some of them have silver, some of them don't. As an example, I went out to the U.S. Mint's website yesterday. The 2021 is $32 for this mint set, proof set. $32. And all these coins, they come in like a hard plastic. It's encapsulated. It's covered. I mean, it is what it is. $32 for 2021. I went and I looked all over the internet. And the cheapest mint set I could find, and I forget what year it was, but there's one year where they must have made more of them, I don't know, it was $5. Most of them are anywhere from $8 to $15. Some of them are actually, because they have silver in them, are $30-some a piece. In the sets that I have, everything's $5 a year. Okay, so worst case scenario, right? I found at least 1 year at $5. Most of them though are more than that, and a lot of them by a large margin. So this is really inexpensive. I have one set. It's 43 years consecutive. From 1968 through 2010. So you can have 43 straight years. I don't and I don't have the 11, 12. I don't have it, but I got 43 years. It's $215 for that set. I have another set that's 42 years from 68 to 09 for $210. I have two sets from 1984 to 2009 for $140. I have another set from 84 to 08. That one's a little less expensive. That's $135. And then the last set is 73 to 81. So not too many there for $70. So if you're into that, or if you know someone that collects these sets, pretty cool deal. Pretty cool deal. Call and Brittany can help you on those sets. She's the one. Poor Brittany. She was the one that had to put them all, make all the things. I mean, it was a lot of work. But any event, there you go. 800-951-0592. So where do we start now? Get it into things. We had jobless claims today. Shocking. Back above 700,000. I really thought with everything opening up, but it just shows you, listen, there's still a lot of businesses closing. This is just the reality. There's a lot of businesses, they're hanging on. The reopening happened, and they still didn't get enough business, and now they're out. 719,000, so that was above normal, and again, way above the all-time high still. I was hoping we would actually get under that. Let's see, it's too early. So we had 1 week where we got below 700,000. That was last week. This week back above. We need normalcy here. We do. And I don't understand why it's still so high. Well, I guess I do, right? Because you're not can't afford to pay the bills, right? I mean, that's just what it is. And a lot of these businesses and people don't, as small business owners, you got your ups and your downs, and a lot of times you barely hang on. All those barely hang-ons are gone. I mean, I saw a report yesterday that 10% of all the businesses in the country have closed. It's incredible to think about it. But the jobless claims was higher. The total number of people unemployed in all programs, that one did fall. So that one did fall to 18 million and change. So in the last 4 weeks, we had 18 million and change 4 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it was 20 million and change. Last week, it was 19 million and change. This week, back to 18 million and change. So that's the number of that number. Really, over the last 4 weeks, hasn't done a lot. But at least it's back to where it was 4 weeks ago. That was kind of confusing. Right? We were hoping for a little better there. Okay, not great. We had ISM manufacturing data, and this is now we're starting to find out where and how bad the inflation is. So in this particular survey, 50 is like 0. Okay, so 50 would be, hey, there's no change this month from last month, and they track stuff like so. They track new orders, they track prices paid, they track inventories, the deliveries, right, back orders. So this is what they're measuring. New orders, which is a good thing, was in the 60s. Okay, we'll take that. Now, I thought that'd be higher, right? Especially with all that's been going on. Deliveries was down, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with the automobile problem. But you see Ford? Ford just had 6 more plants reduce capacity because they don't have the chips. Prices paid. So remember, 50 would be 0. 86. And actually, it was 85.6, but I'm rounding up. 86. So if really, when you think about it, that's like 72% higher, right? 50 would be, hey, I paid the same last month. Now I'm paying 86. This is how fast. By the way, second straight month in a row at 86. And really, technically, we went 86 and 85.6, right? This isn't, and again, this transitory thing that they're trying to sell us, that's not what the manufacturers are saying. And even when you go back into January, 80, go back into December, 70-something. I mean, this thing has been above 50 for almost a year now. And here's the problem. It's actually going higher, right? If you put a graph on prices paid, right, it's going very consistently higher and higher and higher. And that just means what happens when that happens? Hey, if I've got to pay more, we know what happens. Look at silver's a great example on prices paid. I've got to pay so much more above what I used to pay for silver. And really, premiums on silver, we're talking about 100%. So if you asked me what my prices paid on silver would be, my answer on my survey would be 100. And actually, it'd probably be more than 100. Not probably. It is more than 100. Probably more like 130, 140% more. And this is what happens. So what do I do? What do I do? You guys know I got to charge you more. Right? And that's just the realities. And this is exactly what happened today. Why is gold up another $20 today? Well, simple. The transitory story that the central bank's trying to tell us isn't holding true. Right? Everybody out there, the only thing that was down was customer inventories. That's it, customer, right? Right? They can't ship it out. Can't ship it out, right? It's either on a boat, right? Somewhere I just saw in the ports of L.A. and Long Beach, where 33% of all U.S. Goods come through those two ports. There's 10, the equivalent of 10 of those tankers, that one tanker that ran aground in the Suez Canal, waiting to get unloaded. They're now saying that the boats to get unloaded, the container ships, are sitting out at out at sea or outside the port for up to 2 weeks now. Normal delivery times are the boats, because again, this is like a sweet science. The boat shows up just today. Hey, you got here? Hey, this boat's leaving. You're coming right in, right? That's how it's supposed to work. It's driving cost even higher. And you know what happens when you mail everybody a check for $1,400? They buy stuff. Which means what? Hey, we need more stuff. It's just making the problems worse. Think about what's really happening. We're making home prices worse. Because if the Federal Reserve would just stop buying mortgages, just stop. Heck, I don't even cut it in half. The 30-year mortgage would probably jump to 4, maybe 4.5%, 5%. That would end all the price of right. That'd be it. People couldn't afford it, right? Again, it's a bubble. It's artificially inflating the prices of things. And now we're sitting here and we're learning the Democrats, they want to keep sending checks. And I think that's what's going to happen, by the way. I don't think we ever get out of this. This is going to be a permanent solution where every month or every quarter we're going to start mailing checks. The $2.25 trillion infrastructure, I'm getting more details on that as well when we come back. I'm going to tell you where we're spending the money. Where is the money going to go? Who's going to get it? Don't have all the, these are generalized numbers. 80 billion here, 400 billion there, 200 billion there. I'm going to tell you what it means. Everything's going to cost a whole lot more. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. 800-951-0592. The sets, these mid sets that I was talking about earlier, they're not on the website. So the specialty items are on our website. Go to All American Gold, hit the shopping cart button, go to the silver page. There are a couple on the gold page as well. Everything's on sale there. Everything. It was already, before I put them on sale, they were already priced the lowest I could find. Now they're even lower. On these sets I'm going to talk about now, the one that went for 43 years is gone. I have one set that's 42 years consecutive. 1968 to 2009. It's $210. And again, like I said, I went online yesterday. The cheapest set I could find, and it was one date, I forget, it was a date in the 90s. I don't know why. That was $5. Everything else, every other set were anywhere from the $5 all the way into the upper 30s. And by and large, if you said, hey, what's the average price of these sets? Like $8 to $10. I'm selling them to you for $5. Because I don't know what else to do. I want to get them gone. So I've got one set left from 1968 to 2009. And they all come in the box, the mint box. And every year consecutively, that's 210. I had a mistake in my math. I got two sets from 1984 to 2009. 1984 to 2009. That's 26 years. That's $130. I have two of those. I have one set of 84 to 08, so one less year, 25 years, for $125. And then I've got a smaller one that's from 1973 to 1981. So kind of think about the era of hyperinflation. That set kind of is it, right? When you think about the 70s, the oil embargo, I think, started in 1972. But then, of course, Paul Volcker, the Federal Reserve, interest rates were what? Fed funds rate was over 16% in 1980, 81. So that set there is $70. But you got to call for those ones, 800-951-0592. So what's in two things? Yesterday I told you about China's treasuries being added to all the global bond funds in the world. Huge deal. Huge deal. I'm going to tell you what's in the spending plan. But then we're going to talk about something. Something happened in the dollar that hasn't happened in decades and really hasn't happened since the creation of the euro. I'm going to tell you that next, but it's not a good thing. Okay, and I'm just telling you, I know I'm right on this. I'm telling you right now, you need to be ready. Okay, just have some. Am I telling you to put all your money into gold and silver? I'm not telling you that. but you better have some. And I think Eric had the best suggestion. However, you need an ounce of gold for every year you've been alive. Your wife needs an ounce of gold for every year she's been alive. Your kids need an ounce of gold for every year they've been alive. The grandkids need an ounce of gold for every year they've been alive, period. Here's the breakdown. Oh, another. I'm just making mistakes everywhere. So the inflation set 73 to 81. It's $45. Sorry, I said 70. I'm going to go back to bed now. So here's the breakdown of this is the infrastructure bill. And remember, everything the Democrats want, they're going to get because of 5150. $180 billion for research and development. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what research and development is. Research and development for what? I don't know. $115 billion for roads and bridges. That's it. I'm like, wait, that's what they thought. Oh, we got to fix our roads and bridges. $2.25 trillion. How much for roads and bridges? $115 billion. Boy, couldn't we do this for a lot less? $85 billion for public transit. Subsidization, right? Should we? I mean, if transit was great, we could privatize it. I mean, look at Uber, Lyft, all that stuff. Of course, have you gotten an Uber or Lyft lately? Talk about inflation. Holy crap. $80 billion for Amtrak and freight rail, and it says and freight rail. I wish they would break that out. I mean, how much more do we got to give to Amtrak? $174 billion. This one's the one that really, of all the ones, this one really drove me nuts. To encourage EVs, electronic vehicles, via tax credits and other incentives to companies that make EV batteries in the United States instead of China. Now, that part I'm okay with. But again, is this just more Tesla giveaway money? That's what I want to know. Is it just more Tesla? And just so you know, the batteries being made in China are going to China. Just so you know, right now. And in the future, that may change. $1 billion for ports and airports. What? This was what they tell you when you turn on the idiot box. Here's what you hear about infrastructure: roads, bridges, ports, and airports. We're spending like $150 billion on those two items. That's it. Right? Where's the other $2 trillion? Right? It's crazy. $100 billion for broadband. Is that 5G? Yeah. You know what that is. If it wasn't bad enough. $111 billion for water infrastructure. $300 billion to promote advanced manufacturing. What? I don't promote it. Listen, if it makes sense, businesses will do it. They don't need you to help them. 400 billion spending on in-home care. So this is last time I checked, in-home care had nothing to do with infrastructure, but again, this is one of the big Democrat spending packages in here. Think about it, almost 20% of the bill has to do with in-home care. I'll get through the rest of this when we get back. The dollar did something that we haven't seen done really ever, and I'm going to tell you about it next. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, looking at the infrastructure bill, this in-home care bill. Are we going to subsidize the people changing the bedpans and the diapers? I'm not sure, but that is, of all the big programs, that's the biggest one in this bill. It's no surprise. No surprise. $100 billion in programs to update and modernize the electric grid. That needs to be done. I mean, our electric grid, very susceptible. And you think about, we're going to go to a digital currency. That's got to get done. Same thing with the 5G, with digital currency. Got to get done. $46 billion in giveaways. Oh, wait, they didn't say that. In federal procurement programs for government agencies to buy fleets of electronic vehicles. So we're going to subsidize the car companies there. $35 billion in more research and development. Here's what we spend $180 billion on research and development, but then another $35 billion in research and development programs for cutting edge new technologies. So yeah, I don't know how that's different from the other. Apparently, $180 billion isn't cutting edge. Which kind of is like, wait a minute. Shouldn't those be flopped in, right? If we're going to go to cutting edge, but $35 billion there, $50 billion in dedicated investment to improve infrastructure resilience. Yeah, I don't know. Right, but I'm going to take a stab at this one. Bail out California's electrical problems. That's a guess. I don't know. $16 billion intended to help fossil fuel workers transition to new work. There you go. There you go. Ask the coal miners how well that transition's worked. Just saying. All you oil and gas guys, better get ready. $10 billion. This one really... I have no good words. $10 billion for a new civilian climate corps. Yeah. Yep. They're coming. Right? The climate change shamers are coming. What are they going to do? They're going to start writing tickets, right? Show up at your business and say, "Oh, well, you're not being climate change friendly. You left the bathroom light on last night. Here's a ticket." You think I'm kidding? How far away are we? Right? Think about it. We're all going to be walking around with our vaccine passports. Everyone's going to show your papers. Right? Now you're going to have to prove that you're climate friendly. How about the dollar? What's the dollar doing? And I'm not talking about the dollar on Wall Street, which is still at 92 and change. It's irrelevant. Right? Wall Street, listen, if you believe in unicorns and make-believe, right, that's what Wall Street's for. And I mean that. And I don't mean that kiddingly. That's what it's for. But what is the rest of the world doing with dollars? Okay, so you got three choices. They're either buying more of them, the same amount, or less. Right? Those are the three choices. And I've been telling you about how people go bankrupt. And we all know this because, listen, all of us have been through it. We've either had to go through bankruptcy ourselves, or we know people that have done it, close family members, good friends, right? We know it. Or, hey, I was close once. I think a lot of us. Maybe I didn't do it, but it was close. Central banks are getting nervous about the Fed's drunken money policies, and make no mistake about it, these guys are clowns. They're lying to you. They're lying to all of us. They've got their cheerleader squad, right? Think about it. All the stock channels, they got all their cheerleading squads, right? We're getting ready to go to digital money. The banks own us. I mean, think about the banks, right? And what you can't do anymore at the banks. The global share of U.S. dollar-denominated exchange reserves. Okay, that's a fancy way of saying, hey, how are you holding your money? Okay, because remember, they don't put them in the bank. They buy bonds. Dropped to less than 50%. down, and actually dropped all the way to 59%. And by the way, this was fourth quarter, so this data is old. According to the IMF, this matches the low that was set in 1995. Now, remember, what was different in 1995? We didn't have the euro yet. So you had to have some Deutschmarks, some francs, some Italian liras, right? You had all these little European countries. So now we're saying, really, since modern times, this is the lowest percentage of dollars being held by foreign governments ever. They said that this includes treasuries, U.S. corporate bonds. Okay, so think about that. It's not just treasuries. U.S. corporate bonds, U.S. mortgage-backed securities, U.S. commercial mortgage-backed securities. Right? This is what they buy. I'm going to tell you the path. And remember what I said about how we go bankrupt. How do we get to the digital dollar? Final segment coming up. A new modern low for the dollar. And not just the dollar. I mean, but think about it. This corporate debt, commercial debt, mortgage debt, U.S. Treasury debt. And they've stopped buying it. Matter of fact, since 2014, we've gone from 66% to 59%. I'd call that gradual. Something for you to think about. The Chinese renminbi is still below 3%. Because, remember, you go bankrupt gradually, then it's suddenly. And I think this is exactly what we can expect. With inflation flying out of control, and we've already seen China just this. Think about what's happened just this week. China just got added to all the bond bourses, all of them, because the Fed is lying about inflation. Nobody in their right mind is buying U.S. paper. Think about where mortgage paper is. Okay, 3%, a little over. Inflation's like 8, 9. It's a looser. And remember, they talk about this dollar rally. The dollar's not rally. The dollar's at 92 and change. It's not gone anywhere. This is a money-losing proposition. They've been slowly doing this. And I promise you this, it's picking up pace. I didn't think we'd get below 60 until the end of this year. We're actually a year ahead. That means it's going faster. And the way this is going, they're saying, hey, we're going to be, by the end of this year, we're going to be at 58. I think we may be at 57. By 2025, I wouldn't be surprised if we're below 50. And I think at that point, then you've got all kinds of problems. This is why you put gold away. This is why you do it. U.S. $5 Liberties. I got 50 more of these. $575 at 800-951-0592. Gold's right below 1730. 1728 on gold. Silver at 2485. The Dow is up, not a lot, but it's up about 165 points today. Everybody is a little bit nervous because it seems like the central bank has abandoned us. They said it yesterday all day on TV about what they've done to the housing market. The housing market's a mess. It's a mess. Nobody can afford them. Prices are way out of control. They're trying to tell us transitory. Look at the manufacturing data today. Prices are up about 72% for manufacturers. That's huge. That's you don't see those increases, but it fits with everything else that we're seeing. And it's one of those things where they wanted to, early this year, and really started late last year, they wanted the narrative to be, we're going to have great GDP growth, and we are. Believe me, we will. It'll be great. But we weren't going to have inflation. All of a sudden, in the last several weeks, really more like the last couple of days, everybody's realizing, this doesn't look transitory to anybody, and it looks a lot worse than what people thought. 800-951-0592. God bless everybody.